What is up, you guys? Hopefully you enjoyed part one of my interview with Chaz of the Dead. If you have not catch part one yet, go check it out. That way you know what we're talking about. So go catch that, and I hope you guys are enjoying our interview. And if you are, please let me know by leaving a like or leaving a comment down below. Alright, hope you guys enjoy. Bye.
Yeah. What kind of magic practices do you lean towards, TJ? Is there any specific magic field?
There are.
Practice?
I guess this is kind of my beliefs coming out video because I haven't really mentioned it at all.
Let's get into it. Let's get deep.
I've kind of kept it on the back burner for a minute, but yeah, I'm willing to talk about it. So I would say I'm a solitary eclectic. I pull beliefs from different pagan religions. I've done research, so apparently I'm a solitary eclectic neo-pagan, and a lot of people
very specific.
Yeah, a lot of people refer to me, they're like, pagan. You sound like a Wiccan.
I'm just right, pagan.
What?
Pagan, Wiccan, pagan, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that counts as pagan.
Well, I think of myself as a naturalist. I got a lot of natural crystal stones that I've found on the ground. I do have my divination practice, which is called bone throwing, and you don't have to have bones in the kit, but I do.
Best way.
Yes, I actually clean them very well. They're chicken bones from one dinner. But
exactly. It doesn't have to be expensive.
Yeah, see? I recycled our chicken bones. But a lot of energy work. I'm not the best with meditating, but I do try to meditate when I have the time. Yeah, it's a lot of just mental training. And people will tell you all this stuff they say that you need in order to practice. You don't really need it. It's mainly there to just help you with what you already have, to get focused.
Right.
Definitely. Yeah. Basically just trying to, I was just talking about this last night, to use this towards self-discovery and to lead you down your, life path, what you're meant to do in this lifetime is what I use it for.
I agree. I think that's important. I think people go their individual path. Anyone selling an alternative, whether it's the Catholic Church or if it's some crazy cult leader in the Silicon Valley, whatever it is, if they're selling you something, it's probably bullshit. Probably look into it, do your own research. Of course, there's grains of truth and everything. That's why people fall for it, because there are value in all of those methods. That's why, to describe myself, I would probably call myself a chaos magician.
Oh, nice.
I adopt various different practices. It mostly comes from my travel background, since I've been all over and talked to various different spiritual persons in different parts of the world. I've kind of cherry-picked the parts that work for me. So again, a little biased in my opinion. But yeah, as I think I mentioned before, I use a lot of voodoo rituals. being from Florida originally, a lot of that kind of Caribbean magic.
Yeah.
Here in Mexico, I'm living in Mexico City now. I've picked up a couple Santeria practices. Not too many, but
so
I incorporated a few.
I do want to ask, so people have a better understanding about it, myself also. When I had first heard about like chaos magic, of course what comes to mind is like, you know, people might think of like black magic or something with bad intentions. I just wanted to ask if you would explain what that is so people don't think it's like something bad, like, you know.
Right, no worries. I mean, chaos magic is embracing the natural state of the universe, which in certain practices, general chaos magic is acknowledging that the universe is pretty crazy. It's pretty wild. It goes crazy directions. It's unpredictable in most of its nature. So by leaning into that unpredictability, into that chaos, you can, you know, find these magical moments. So what a chaos magician essentially does is they are constantly adapting their magical practice. So, you know, if for example, it's around Christmas time, this is a weird example, so I'm going to if it's around Christmas time, they might set up an altar to Santa Claus. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Because if you think about it, there's a lot of psychic energy going to Santa Claus from all the kids in the world. So you might set up an altar to practice your magic towards Santa Claus for the month of December. And it might work. You might say you're trying to get a big Christmas bonus. So you set up a altar to Santa Claus, and you get that giant bonus, and you're awesome. You'll remember the Santa Claus ritual for next year. If it doesn't work, you say, screw Santa Claus. I'm not going to use him anymore. You toss him in the bin, and you go on and you try a new practice. So it's really a path of exploration into various different magical practices. So, you know, practicing, for example, as I use voodoo and hoodoo practices, that might lead more to the left-hand black magic path. I still use some, I have the Lord's Prayer memorized, because if I ever need a appropriate spell or prayer for the right-hand path, I have one. You know, I have that memorized. So it's having stacking your deck with whichever spiritual path works. So that's why a lot of people do paint it as a black magic path, is because it is accepting of black magic principles. Where a lot of right hand light magic would reject all of those entirely. Chaos magic is like, well, let's see what we got. Does it work? And that's the approach I take to pretty much everything.
Yeah.
So it's the best path for me, I found.
And even though like I might practice like being a naturalist, what we discussed earlier, I still do believe in like the angels, and I call on them to assist me whenever I feel like I need their assistance or like guidance and stuff. So I mean,
right, and there's great power in that, because there's so many people who also have that as their spiritual path. So where I come at a general if I go back, I have, you know, various spiritual beliefs, but I try to tackle my research from a pretty scientific angle. So if we think about the universal subconscious, the more people practicing a magical practice, you know, all of those people in one way or another kind of become your brethren, your, you know, an ally in that spiritual field. And that can be very useful. So having the angelic aspects are really useful. society, we'd be amiss to say not trying, leaning into some of the darker magic also has its benefit. In a modern world where society and governments and things are not always in the right, the church, all those places, all those institutions are not always in the right. It's not bad to be wrong. In the aspect of left hand, right hand magic.
Yeah. I know, it was a few years ago, I thought, like, if you weren't Christian, like, type of religion, that you couldn't, like, believe in the angels kind of thing. I know that sounded so unsure, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's the spiritual archetypes and various religions. You know, there are angels in the Abrahamic religion, but they still have, you know, the Kais in Taoism and Buddhism, the other nature spirits, and they're all essentially these archetypes that exist and have existed and have interacted to varying degrees with people throughout the years.
And I noticed you mention like white and black magic.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna ask if you believed it, because there's a lot of nowadays people that ask experienced people on this topic that they don't believe in like white and black magic, that they think it's I want to say one person thought of it as a like racial like
I can kind of see that. And it is definitely unfortunate that most of the Caribbean practices I was talking about, the African practices, they fall into the black magic category, and that's definitely not by coincidence. You know, that's the history of the church. You know, labeling these practices as bad and banning them and making them illegal in certain cases. So I kind of agree with that. I think it's definitely better to go with the left hand, right hand path label.
Okay.
And I think they're useful for categorizing the various practices. It's not just simply to say which ones can you do and still go and talk to your pastor at church, and which ones will get you yelled at if you talk to them about your pastor. Talk with your pastor at church. So, you know, those left-hand practices will probably get you some sideways looks.
Yeah.
But you know, they're still valid. That's society over years, you know, making those sideways looks.
Yeah.
I definitely think I understand the argument for the black and white magic.
Now,
but I think it's more on the church than on the racial lines.
like, because I've had people that were curious and not experienced at all with practicing themselves, and you know, one of the obvious questions is going to be like, oh, what's considered white or black magic? And I usually tell them that magic is basically colorless, that it's the intent that you put behind it. Because you can take something that's considered good and use it for bad intentions. It just depends on how you're going about trying to affect something.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, there's definitely people using the church-sanctioned magic for nefarious acts. You have people every day in the U.S. praying for the death of, you know, innocent gay people and all kinds of terrible stuff in the name of Christ. So exactly, it's the same way. The other magic can be used in the reverse, in the positive.
Yeah.
And again, I find most people in the world are trying to be positive, are trying to be positive people. So are using that practice by extension, whatever it is, positively. It's when the big institutions get in and the money starts flowing, and you get some dangerous cults and overbearing.
Don't focus
churches.
on the money. Sorry. I was just telling people watching the video, I'm like, your religious beliefs should not be focused around making an income from it.
What's that?
Oh, I was saying, your religious beliefs, you shouldn't be mainly focused on trying to generate an income from it. It should just be something that
churches, burn them down.
Yeah, well, with these, I don't think it's a bad idea to sell things for spiritualists and all that to help them. I just think it's crazy how expensive it can be, or
and it can get to that dangerous Jim Jones level, mass suicides and things. It's that's why it's important to always be the steward of your own path. It's fine to seek advice and look to different routes and different spiritual advisors, but try to be true to yourself and don't abandon your beliefs entirely for someone else's.
Yeah, I want to add that just people that are watching this, that I don't want them to think that I'm saying it's bad to because everyone's got to make an income and live and stuff, but it's just
you can put it all on me. If I say anything offensive, it's on me. Go ahead. No worries.
Well, I'm just letting them know, make it a more affordable.
Yeah, I agree too. Please buy my book when it comes out.
Yeah. Like, I totally get it, because I don't want to sit here and rant on people that are trying to sell their services and products, because eventually I might have something that I want, my viewers and follows to go check out, and I don't want them to be all like, I'm not going to buy your stuff because now you're coming off like a hypocrite.
Yeah, no, I understand that. And, of course, I'm not talking about, that kind of, independent level. I'm talking about, we know, you can look up what kind of terrible things the Catholic Church has done. There's the evidence there. It's just about knowing which institutions you wanna put your belief and your faith and your money behind. And I think it's always good to. I'm huge on supporting independent research, especially in this field, and very cautious of the spiritual field when it gets into the New Age topics, because as you see, I kind of get a little controversial there.
Yeah.
But definitely support the independent creators is hugely important. That way we can get new institutions that aren't so terrible.
Yeah. As you can tell, I didn't really get around to writing down a whole lot of questions. I know I'm friends with a paranormal couple on Instagram, and they did give me some advice. They're like, make sure you have this and this ready before you go on your interview with them, and I'm like, I got 4 questions. But I was kind of, as you can see, like, the video has gone into like 43 minutes, so
yeah, we've ranted pretty long, so
yeah, I was hoping that natural questions would come up and the conversation would just naturally happen.
Yeah, I think it was good. We got into quite a few different topics.
Let me see. Whoa. I would like to end this video with, do you have any advice for anyone that is interested in pursuing this kind of path with the paranormal? And I also want to include like spiritual as well, because I believe that ties in with the paranormal. They're like
Definitely.
hand in hand.
They
together.
go hand in hand.
Thank you.
I would just say, make sure you do your research. Research is vastly important in this field. It's what makes the wheels turn. If it wasn't for people and their various different forms, whether it's videos, podcasts, or articles, it's what keeps the wheels turning and what keeps investigators investigating. So, do your research. And if you want to get into the field, I recommend trying something new. Come up with a new experiment. Try a new technique. Maybe introduce new ideas. That's what keeps this field interesting and keeps it going and keeps people coming back. And if you want to find some of those things, go to my website, chazofthedead.com. We got stuff on chaos magic, on taking hallucinogens, on bathing ourselves in potions from Mexican
check out his
markets.
website.
All kinds of good stuff.
I actually wanted, instead of ending the video on that question, because this has been something that's been running through my mind, because I've been that person like in the past. Do you have any advice for someone that has gone through a paranormal experience and they're in a situation where they feel like nobody really understands them? Like, what would you tell them so they didn't feel so like misunderstood or alone?
That's a great question, and it can be definitely difficult in this field, in this subject. It can definitely feel like you're going crazy, but be sure that there are people out there in the world that understand what you're going through is real. They're investigating it as if it's real, and they are determined to validate your experiences because they are valid. They are changing your life and changing your world, which means they exist physically. They exist for you, and they exist in this psychic realm. So, have faith in whatever you choose to have faith in. And remember that out of every single case I've investigated, a normal haunting has never killed anyone. If it gets into alien abductions and maybe demonic possession, shoot me an email and I'll try to help. But if it's your normal run-of-the-mill, out of all of the investigators I know, I've worked with, none of them have died in the field. So take comfort in that and knowing it's scary, and it can be intimidating, and it can damage your psyche if you let it. But it's not the end of the world, and you'll get through it.
I do want to add one thing to that. You guys remember, this is what I did. You can also, the internet is an amazing thing. You can't, go online and reach out to like-minded people. What I did is, I basically just signed up for Instagram and typed in paranormal investigators and just went from there. And it really, for me, it was like, they're not next to me in person kind of thing, so it doesn't really help. But once you go and do it, it really, your opinion will be changed. Just to have that person to connect to.
Such a big community.
Yeah, just to have someone to tell them how your day is or what you're going through, and you don't have to worry about them being like, okay, you're crazy.
Yeah, you can definitely find someone who will investigate your case, who will sit down and listen to you and understand what you're going through.
Yeah. So, I'm going to say that unless you had anything else you wanted to mention before I finish this video.
No, that's good. I'm off to eat some tacos.
Alright, let me do the wrap up real quick. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's video. It was our very first paranormal interview call. If you did like my video, please leave it a big thumbs up. Leave your comments down below because I love hearing back from you guys. And if you have not and would like to, please subscribe to the Floating Bedsheet family. We would love to have you be with us. And you guys are awesome. Keep it spooky and have a good night. I'll see you guys later. Bye.